It's the NHTV Morning Show with your hosts Olivia Ross and Dan Tolkowitz, Brooke Boyer and Jacob Makovsky, Griffin Healy, Tom Finan, and Ty Pennington with sports, Sebas Leal and Daniela Suarez with the 5-day forecast.
Good morning, Highlands. Today is Friday, June 5th. I'm Dan Tolkowitz.
I'm Jacob Makovsky.
And I'm Olivia Ross. Brooke is out today. Welcome to Quarantine Episode 10 of the Northern Highlands Morning Show.
It's been a while since we've been on the air, so we hope you had a great holiday weekend and enjoyed the last week's show.
Studio 225's A Year in Film highlighted the great works of students here at Northern Highlands in the film study and film production classes. You can catch the replay on our YouTube channel at NHTV Studios.
So many things have happened in the world and in our community since our last show, so let's get things started. Dan?
Thanks, Jacob. As time progresses and the people continue to stay safe from the virus, more stories and events will reopen for public use. Recently, New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy released a statement saying that they would be planning making guidelines for salons and barbers to open up again soon. This leaves people excited, especially those who haven't had a haircut since before March. Until then, stay safe and healthy so we can regain the privilege of this and many more services.
The Washington, D.C. National Guard, roughly 1,700 soldiers, has been called in response to protests outside the White House and elsewhere in the nation's capital. Protests continue to spread as more cities impose curfews and states call in the National Guard. Local officials have offered curfews in dozens of cities and counties across the nation in response to demonstrations spurred by the death of George Floyd, an unarmed black man killed by police during an arrest in Minneapolis this week. But some criminologists have reservations about curfews, particularly given the scarcity of research about their effectiveness, and warn that curfews currently being instituted could backfire. For more on the story, here's Tyler Tensilent.
As many people already know, Minneapolis is in a very bad state right now. After the death of George Floyd, while being restrained by officers of the Minneapolis Police Department, many people started to speak out against this. At first, the riots started peacefully, but they quickly escalated, and now Minneapolis is a complete disaster. People are burning down buildings, breaking windows, robbing stores, and committing many other terrible crimes to protest against the police. A mandatory state curfew has been put into place, but it's hardly helping the situation. This has been going on for many straight nights now, and the protesters are showing no sign of stopping. We can only hope that the situation gets better in Minneapolis. And as always, back to you, NHTV.
NJ Advanced Media has launched a daily coronavirus question, which is a service where reports answer commonly asked questions about the epidemic that really hit hard in New Jersey. The question is it okay to visit family members during the pandemic? This question was answered by Dr. David Sinimo, an infectious disease specialist who teaches at Rutgers, New Jersey Medical School. Yes, you can, as long as you feel healthy and follow certain guidelines. If you are currently sick or otherwise experiencing any symptoms of the coronavirus, you should absolutely remain at home. But if you're not feeling ill, Sinimo said that you can visit other family members if you continue to practice social distancing and other guidelines recommended by the CDC, because one or more parties could have an asymptomatic carrier of the virus. It's important that everyone still practices social distancing to keep everyone safe so we can go back to our normal lives soon.
While many of us are dealing with many big issues in our life on the ground, some of us are looking to the stars. Tyler Tensilent has more on the last weekend's successful launch of the first manned SpaceX rocket.
Elon Musk has been working on developing a powerful rocket to launch into space, and on Wednesday, May 27th, he almost achieved his goals. The Falcon X was on track to launch into space last Wednesday until crude weather struck minutes before. Lightning was seen in the area 17 minutes before the scheduled 4:33 p.m. launch time, which called for the flight weather officer to make the call to scrub the flight. This mission was then rescheduled for this Saturday, May 30th at 3:22 p.m., and I'm happy to say that it went as planned. By launching NASA astronauts Robert Behnken and Douglas Hurley into space, Elon Musk made SpaceX the first commercial company to launch humans to space on its own private spacecraft. Although everything is going great so far, The mission Benkin and Hurley began over the weekend won't be considered a success until they return safely to Earth, but their mission is expected to last up to 110 days, and the journey home is just as important as the journey into orbit. We will keep you updated on what happens with this story, and as always, back to you on HTV.
In other news, Anonymous is a large group of hackers who wear masks to hide their identities from the public. After years of being relatively quiet, this group has appeared to re-emerge in the wake of violent protests in Minneapolis over the death of George Floyd, forcing to expose the many crimes of the city's police to the world. The group has become very active on Twitter, exposing files related to the American government and President Trump. This is not all they're doing. Anonymous recently hacked the Minneapolis Police Department website and the Chicago Police Community Systems during the protests. It's time now for sports with Ty, Tom, and Griffin. Guys?
Thanks, Dan. Over the weekend, Governor Murphy announced that youth sports can restart as early as June 22nd. However, these sports must resume following safe and proper guidelines to help prevent the spread of the virus to athletes. Regarding high school sports, the governor stated that they can start practicing on June 30th. The NJSIAA has put together 2 task forces assigned to help make the startup of summer practices a smooth transition. Many athletes haven't played sports since mid-March and are itching to get back onto the field. As of now, many players and coaches seem hopeful that there will, in fact, be a fall sports season. Now, over to Tom with more.
Thanks, Ty. As stated by governors across the nation, they have started to open up facilities to major sporting teams. Now that teams have been given permission from their respective states, it is now up to the board of each league and each players' union to agree on terms of payment, games, and off-season. The NBA is anticipating a July 31st return. NFL OTAs and preseason should be opening up on time. Meanwhile, the MLB's union is in the middle of a dispute with owners about receiving their full salaries for the season. Some MLB owners have even come out to say that they are comfortable canceling the entire 2020 season if players cannot come to an agreement on their salaries, according to Bleacher Report. Now let's send it over to Griffin for some more news in the basketball world. Griffin?
Thanks, Tom. During a time of turmoil like this, there is still a community healing back and making progress. San Antonio Spurs guard Lonnie Walker IV has helped clean up some of the buildings in San Antonio on Sunday morning that were damaged Saturday night. This is Walker's second season with the Spurs and is already making a community impact. When asked about why he came, he replied, "I'm just trying to be another human being playing my part." Now, let's head to Sebas with the weather.
Thanks, Griffin. Danielle is off today. We're starting to move into nicer weather these days. So this weekend looks like there will be possible thunderstorms on Saturday, but mild and dry weather on Sunday. On Monday, it will be partly sunny with a high of 76 and a low of 56. Tuesday will be partly cloudy and a bit warmer with a high of 79 and a low of 58. And Wednesday will be cloudy with a high of 78 and a low of 61. And ending off this week's forecast, Thursday will be partly cloudy with a high of 78 and a low of 60. Make sure to stay safe with everything that is going on in the world. That's all for us with weather. Back to you, Jacob.
Thanks, Sebas. And finally today, some parts of the world are going through just what we did here, and medical pros are getting the worst of it. Miss Azevedo's Spanish class recently put together video messages in Spanish to show their support for Latin American doctors. Here's a quick look at what they put together.
Hola, me llamo Jaime. Yo tengo 15 años y vivo en Allendale, Nueva Jersey. Yo soy un estudiante de una clase de profe severo. Yo sé que estamos en tiempos difíciles y es importante que nos ayudemos una a la otra. Tenemos que mantenernos positivos en todo momento. Yo espero que todos con el coronavirus mejoren pronto. Todos apreciamos el trabajo que hace en el hospital para ayudar con la pandemia y buena suerte en el futuro. Adiós.
Great job, Spanish students. And that's our show for today. Thanks for watching.
We will be back next week, but not in the usual way.
That's right, Dan. Next week, you will get to see what goes on behind the scenes here at NHTV as we present NHTV A Year of Bloopers.
This is where you get to watch mishaps, mess-ups, and a ton of bloopers that have been lovingly saved by our teacher, Mr. Nadal, all for your enjoyment and our embarrassment.
We will be back to pick up the pieces a week later in our final show of 2020. We hope you will join us for a tribute to all of our seniors. Until then,
Have a good
weekend,
weekend,
Lions.
Lions.